Jorvik, a place where horses bring people together. A place so scenic that transportation has almost no chance. A place where time seems to have stopped in the Middle Ages, when horses were used as a means of transportation, but at the same time, a place so modern. A fictional island with a deep story, where we often escape from reality. But have you ever wondered if this island full of horses also has a home for horses inspired by real or fairy tale horses? Or even their lookalikes? We'll take a look at that in this video. My name is Rose, and many of you may know me by my Instagram name Rosewild, 2 S and 2 Ds, where I mainly create nostalgic or funny posts and reels or simply share my Star Stable life. Also, English is not my first language. I'm a proud Czech girl and sometimes I have problems with pronunciation and maybe I have a little Czech accent, so bear with me. I would say that I'm an OG player. I played in 2014 to 2015. At that time, unfortunately, as a non-star rider. Then I had a long break and returned to the game at the end of 2022. In the meantime, I did not lose information about the Jorvik news and I watch almost all new updates on YouTube and my favorite SSO YouTubers whom I still like to follow. And now I'm here to also give you some interesting information and things that interest and entertain me as an SSO player. I think that would be enough about me for the start and let's go and talk about the beautiful horses. In Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, at least once in our lives. A beautiful story between a wild horse and a Native American boy who will turn from enemies to friends. And since this horse is a big horse icon, we could even say we had him in the game twice. The first Spirit was a marketing collaboration between the game and DreamWorks, the creators of the movie Spirit Riding Free. This movie was about the son of Spirit and Train from the original movie Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. Spirit acted as an NPC in the game and appeared in different locations all over Jorvik every day from 8 AM until 10 PM, and then reappeared the next morning. Spirit would run around one location for 1 hour, but sometimes even 2. When the player found him, Spirit would give tasks for which reputation was collected. And when the reputation was collected to the level admired, which is like the biggest reputation level, the player could buy the so-called Miradero apple, I hope I'm saying that right, in the Spirit shop in Forpinta for 699 star coins. He then gave this apple to Spirit, who decided to stay with the player despite the fact that he was a wild horse. But Spirit also had a few drawbacks. As a wild horse, he couldn't wear any tag. He couldn't change his name or the style of his mane and tail. He wasn't able to do the special move Buck as the only Mustang in the game. And he was brought to the player's stable as a trained horse with level 15, which I believe was a plus for many players. Although we don't usually see people riding this Spirit anymore, many of them are still grateful to have Spirit in their stable because this entire feature was removed after the SSO collaboration with DreamWorks ended in 2019. And Spirit is no longer available for purchase anywhere in the game. And what about the other one? Although he wasn't really confirmed as Spirit by the Star Stable team, many players believe that he was really inspired by either Spirit from the original movie or Donner, which was a Mustang that Spirit was inspired by in the original movie. And it's none other than this beauty, which was added to the game with the other Gen 3 Mustangs in 2023. But the Mustang lookalike certainly didn't end in the game only with Spirit, as evidenced by the Pinto Mustang, which was inspired by the American Mustang Picasso who runs around the Sun Wash Basin in Colorado. Picasso has a rare color. His two-tone coat and mane made him the most famous and admired wild horse in America. Fans from all over the world have come to visit this more than 30-year-old stallion. Songs and poems are written about him, and his family tree is being searched for. However, many admirers think that Picasso has died because he was probably last seen in 2020. However, Picasso was and always will be a true American icon, and we can find his lookalike in the game for purchase at Starshine Ranch. The second most likely inspired Mustang is Snip, actually a son of Picasso, a black stallion running around the Sandwash Basin as well. Another most likely inspired Mustang is Sugar. With Grua Pinto coloring, she runs around the Sandwash Basin just like Snip and Picasso. Some players think that the Mustang with pale palomino coloring could be inspired by Cloud, a wild Mustang that lived in the American Prairie Mountains on the border of Montana and Wyoming. The interesting thing about this stallion is that he was documented from the day he was born, the 29th of May 1995, until his death. You can still see the documents on the internet. Cloud even had a daughter who still runs around the Prairie Mountains. Her name is Anchor, by the way. Cloud disappeared in 2016, but his body, like Picasso's, has never been found. But he remains in our hearts. In September 2021, the big Western legends made their entrance to the game. Who else could it be other than the American Paint Horse? Spirit, stallion of the Cimarron, is not finished in Star Stable, as one of them with the flax and chestnut pinto color was probably inspired by Rain, Spirit's Native American companion. This color was previously only available in the app, but now we can buy it anytime at Starshine Ranch. Isn't it beautiful? We have a whole family! According to legend, back in the 18th century, a Spanish galleon, a multi-deck sailing ship, was wrecked off the coast of Virginia or Maryland. It is said that there were horses on board that were destined for colonies or plantations in the New World. When the ship sank, the horses supposedly swam to Assateague Island, which was a home for the Native American tribes before the arrival of European settlers. But if the Native Americans really lived there is not entirely clear. The horses were given the name Chincoteague, which comes from the language of the Native Americans and means something like beautiful land across the water. The context of this name is because the island lies on the coast of Virginia and is separated from the mainland by bays and wetlands. There the ponies began to multiply and create a wild herd. Whether this whole story is a real event or just a legend is not known, but it has become a local identity because it is mysterious and beautiful. What is known, however, is that wild Chincoteague ponies still roam Assateague Island and Chincoteague Island, which is just below it, to this day. And it is precisely this legend that inspired the writer Marguerite Henry, who wrote a children's story inspired by true events. It tells the story of siblings Paul and Maureen Beebe, who live on Chincoteague Island and dream about buying a wild mare from Assateague Island, where wild ponies live. They especially want a famous mare named Phantom, who is very skittish. During the annual pony roundup, they manage to catch Phantom and discover that she has a foal named Misty. In the end, the children buy both horses and bring them home. The story is about love for animals, courage, and dreams that can come true. Misty has a flax and chestnut pinto color, and her lookalike can be found in the game at Southwood Farm. The Irish Cob, a beautiful, powerful draft horse native to Ireland and Great Britain, also known as the Tinker, appeared in the game as the third generation in late 2019. With its release also came two Tinkers inspired by horses from Esmeralda Silverforce, a gamer and SSO content creator, and Nomi, an SSO 3D artist, animator and songwriter who we all know very well from songs like Fire or Hollow Woods. Esmeralda's horse, named Momadag, is Chestnut Pinto, and Nomi's horse, named Runestone, is Black Sabino, and both can be found for purchase in Valadale Village. In the fall of 2022, an equestrian champion was added to the game for the first time. Through the game's marketing collaboration with H&M Wheel of Horses, players could get to know him but also buy him. This 19-year-old gelding is a multiple winner and together with his rider Peter Fredriksson forms an inseparable duo. However, this horse was permanently removed from the game a year later. When the third generation Appaloosas were added to the game, many players were interested in the flaxen chestnut peacock leopard color. This color was probably inspired by a horse named C.S. Arrogant Playboy, aka Wicket, who has a color that resembles a peacock's tail. This stallion is used as a breeding stallion despite his unusual color and the disease HYPP, which is a hereditary horse muscle disease. Not just any horse has this disease, so many believe that his owner used inbreeding to create Wicket. That's why he has such a beautiful color. Wicket was born in early 2018 and is bred at Hanging M Ranch in Missouri, USA. In the game, we can find this beautiful color at Starshine Ranch. The third generation of the Hanoverians was added to the game quite recently with 7 colors of these beautiful warm bloods, 3 of which were inspired by real horses, namely Miran, Precious and Tia. All 3 horses are SSO employee horses and we can buy them at Jorvik stables. Stories simply run on this fairy tale island, and some of them even know the real world. All the horses in today's video reflect real or fairy tale horses. Some wild, some with loving owners, but all unforgettable. Thank you for watching the video until this point, and if you think of any other lookalikes, be sure to let me know down in the comments. Have a great day and see you in the next video. Bye!